bring your positive vibes. Thank you for being here at Vern's Junk Closet. Today is going to be an amazing live stream. We will be speaking with Mr. Oliver Brown, who is actually a real accountant, people, not a fake one. He's a real accountant now. So get on your positive vibes, get your questions, come on in. I appreciate you all for being here. I do want to do some housekeeping first. Thank you, all of my moderators. You are amazing. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. So that's first. Second, thank you to all the members that are piling in here. I appreciate you guys. And thank you to everyone else that is part of Team Booski or on the Booski compound. So to start, I will ask that you please share this live out, thumbs it up, and I appreciate you again for being here. And also, if you could please answer the poll question that is there. Now, I do have Mr. Oliver Brown's Facebook link and his Instagram link pinned to the top of the live stream. It is also in the description. So how I like to start is let you guys know what we're going to be doing today is talking about taxes. All right. It is tax season. If you have worked, if you have received unemployment, the child tax credit, there's a lot of different ways that you may not know that you need to file taxes on some items. So we are going to go over that. So before I bring up my guests, I'm going to welcome everybody in. Thank you, Kristen, for updating your membership, sis. I appreciate you. Hey, Slim is in the building. What's up, Slim? We got Kay Lamar. Woo! And guys, Kay Lamar and I, we will be doing an interview, a dialogue on Thursday. Please look out for that thumbnail to come. We have Life's Magical Journey. Hey, twin. What's up? Hey, Barry. 345 Barry is here. Thank you for coming in all the way from, I think you're in London or England. Thank you so much for being here. I am awesome. Life's Magical Journey. How are you, Queen? Thank you so much for being here. We got Stream Elements. Alejandro, the Element Stream bot is in here. We got Jaden. Hey, Jaden. How are you? Hey, Amana Mizell. Hello. If this is your first time here, Amana, please put in an exclamation point and the word welcome, and you will get a greeting from me and Alejandro. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see if I don't want to miss anyone. Hey, Deb. Thank you, Deb. Deb is my sister, guys. If you don't know Community Advocate Network, make sure you're checking her out. She actually did my interview with me on my adoption, so please go check that out. It was amazing. She made me look like a queen, honey. I looked beautiful on that thumbnail. Don't play. Hey, Globus G. Hi. Welcome in. Hey, Afro Max. Thank you for being here. Lipstick by Amani. What up, beautiful? Hey, queen. How are you? Okay, guys. So how I like to do it is I like you guys to welcome in our guest, Mr. Oliver Brown. Y'all know how we do it in the Booski compound. Put up them fire emojis. Put up those confettis. Put up some drums. Let's welcome him in. Y'all know how we do it. Come on, put up those balloons, those hearts, the dancing ladies, the roses. Put it in the chat. Let's welcome him in. Once I see a couple, I will bring him up. Give me one moment. I'm going to play this quick little video, and then we're going to bring up our guest, Mr. Oliver Brown. Hold on one moment. So that, guys, was a little video clip of my merch, which will be on sale tomorrow. 15%. Make sure you're hitting the stream. I think it's stream. Oh, now you got me messed up with the name of it. Go in there. You'll see it. It's Stream Elements also going to drop it. It is my merchandise. It is in there. I'm just looking at the stream. Thank you guys for being here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Give me one moment. Hey, Tampa Queen. Tampa BBQ Queen is in the building. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. So, guys, thank you. We are going to bring up our guest right now, Mr. Oliver Brown, and I'm going to have him introduce himself just a bit, and then we're going to get into this. Welcome in.
Hello. How you
doing? Thank you so much for being here. Can you hear me and see me okay? We good?
Yep, all is well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So, guys, This is Mr. Oliver Brown. Okay, he's going to tell you just a little bit about what he does. And then we're going to get into this because I really need you guys to understand this is tax season. The last 2 years have been incredible worldwide. So we want to make sure you are filing your taxes the proper way. Okay. So Oliver, first, I'm going to drop down. Tell us a little bit, just a little bit. I'm going to give you like 3 minutes. Tell us a little bit about what you do and the company that you're with.
Sure, not a problem. Thank you very much for allowing me to grace the stage with you this evening, Vern. As you mentioned, my name is Oliver Brown, and I'm an accountant by profession. I've been in the field of accounting for now 25 years, and I started out my corporate career at the ripe old age of 17. I got my first accounting position and worked my way up through corporate America. And at the early stages of my career, I started on the path of entrepreneurship by way of starting my own independent business. Operated solely as a doing business as a DBA. We'll have more insight into what that relates to as far as as owning a business a little bit later on, probably in the discussion. And I received my education primarily in New York. That's where I grew up. That's where I was raised, and attained a good 2 decades worth of experience working for corporate while operating my business in essence on the side for a number of years while I did a corporate job and primarily paid my bills and did seasonal work by way of income tax preparation was really the focus. So I've attained a lot of experience and knowledge in the core focus of accounting, several different financial related services in different industries over my career. And from a standpoint of being independent, full-time independent, I should say, I started the transition of making my business primary about maybe 4 to 5 years ago, as I started to steadily make that progression. And it's something that I encourage others to do by way of, securing their financial freedom and actually starting a business and being an entrepreneur. So, the field has done me well by being able to take care of my family over the years, and I'm happy to be of service to others. So this ended up being a perfect mix of my personality, the type of person I am in terms of connecting and helping others, and choosing the field of accounting, which is one that services all.
Yes. Thank you for that. Welcome in, Hood Girl. How are you? Welcome in, everybody. Again, you can see his links up in the top of this stream. It is pinned. Hey, American, armed American Patriot. How are you?
Can you hear me clearly?
What'd you say?
I'm not sure. It's not sounding very clear on my end. Go right ahead. Speak again.
Can you hear me? No?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Having a technical issue here.
Okay, is that better?
Oh no, it's very bad. Hang on a second. I don't think it's my Bluetooth, but let me disconnect the Bluetooth. Hang on.
I can't hear
you.
Okay. Wait, now say something.
Wow. Now we're having technical issues here, folks. So hang on.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
But your mic, it sounds very laggy to me. I can't understand what you're saying.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
Okay, is that better?
Much better. Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes I have to go out and come back in. I don't know why. Hey, Ray of Sunshine, how are you guys? Welcome in. Armed American Patriot, give me one moment and let me see. Did we block you? Okay, type something now, Armed American Patriot. Let me know if that works for you. So guys, I do want to start out again. His links are pinned to the top of the stream. Please connect with him via Facebook or via Instagram. Now, I want you to know he is in Florida. Okay, he's in Florida, but by way of Brooklyn, so don't play. Okay, listen, don't get it twisted. Okay, I seen Oliver the other day in his rare element, and I was shocked, but I understand and I love it because we can be professional when it's supposed to be. But listen, we're human. We have feelings too. So don't let us get out of character because we don't do that. But so we're going to start this first. Excuse me. So you said that you're an accountant. What
Yeah.
other services do you offer besides being an accountant?
All right. So for purposes of, the field of accounting, the normal range of services that you'll find for any independent accounting firm or work by accountants would include accounting services, of course, reviewing of the financials, preparation of reports, budgets, etc., the meat and potatoes of the financial world, or as far as doing analytics on a company's financial state and their well-being. I also do bookkeeping services, payroll services, and of course taxation is really a general focus of mine. I'm from a standpoint as an accountant, not all accountants enjoy preparing taxes, but it's one that I've kind of had a love and joy for it because it's a very personalized service. You have to know basically the ins and outs of your clients, not just personal background, but of course their business. So you could be the quality, you could provide a high level quality service to them in terms of being able to assist them financially and making key decisions in life, whether it's personal decisions or in decisions in business. And other financial services that I've had experience and have had interest in over the years by way of either working in the field and or doing my own education in terms of learning how to do different things. I do bankruptcy filing assistance, will help for clients, business formation, so creating and starting a new business from point A to point Z. And just to clarify, the business formation services, while a lot of entrepreneurs have taken the path of being self-servant in terms of registering a business with their their home Department of States, wherever you reside or where you operate and you intend to do business, but it goes well beyond the scope of simply going on to a Department of State website and starting and creating an LLC or a corporation. That's just one piece. That's the first piece and the most important piece, but there are a lot more layers to it. So I go through the entire spectrum of assisting individuals with getting their businesses fully registered and in compliance in certain cases, depending on what they're doing. If you're seeking out funding, grants, so you're seeking to get business loans, you need to have a proper setup and structure for your business. And again, just to note also on the business formation side, you have to also identify, based on your type of business, your prospects for development and growth over time. If you plan to have different services being ordered under the umbrella of your business, you have to make sure you set up the proper structure for that business, not simply creating an LLC just to create one or creating a corporation. Right. You really need to have some insight from someone with a financial background to make sure that you're making the right decision by registering the business as correctly, in essence.
That's right.
All right.
Amana, thank you for your question. I am going to ask him that question right now. Again, if you guys want to ask a question, I need you to put a green heart and then ask your question so I won't bypass you. So this is one of the questions we had anyway. Do you help people in California? And I was going to ask, do you offer services only in Florida or in other states? So right. If you'd like to answer that one, and I'll put them on the screen as they go.
Absolutely. I'm Amarna. I hope I'm not butchering your name. That is certainly, I'm able to service clients all across the country. I have clients in about maybe 23, 24 states currently. I have multiple clients in the state of California. And I also have clients that are overseas. So either folks that are deployed in military or U.S. citizens that have, decided to move abroad. So as long as you have access to technology, as long as you have access to some form of, computer or, being able to scan documents, primarily that's how I receive my documentation is electronic, then I will be able to service you, whether it's your personal taxes or your business. So you don't have to be in my home state of Florida.
Okay, awesome. Ray of Sunshine said, how does he promote his services?
Okay, well, wonderful platforms like this. And actually, this is something I'm getting more involved in. I've been asked, by several my different platforms, whether it's YouTube or other streaming services or social media platforms, to do interviews and host events and do public speaking engagements. And it's a means of certainly putting the word out there to the world, in essence, the world that is the internet. And while I'm very much a comfortable person from a speaking standpoint, it's something that I'm getting more and more involved in. I primarily, the majority of my book of business over the years has come from one source that I think is key for any business owner and any entrepreneur: referral-based business. And that speaks volumes to the level of what you do, the quality of the work that you assign, the care that you put into what you do, and certainly the appreciation by your clients that they will decide once they know someone is in need of your service. They're easily tag me in a post, give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email, and lo and behold, I get a lot of business without even leaving the confines of my office. So that's one means. I do. My wife actually owns an advertising and marketing business here in the South Florida region. It's called supportstluciecounty.com, and she handles a lot of my marketing, branding, and my social media. So I get plenty of calls for purposes of new business by way of Google. Google searches. I'm generally one of the top firms that you'll find within the region, and be that I didn't finish off on the services that I offer, but I'm not a regular accountant in that respect. When we're talking about, I mentioned bankruptcy filing assistance, business formation services is probably pretty general. Credit repair, something that's really a major service that a lot of clients are in need of this day and age, especially moving into buying real estate. Financial planning and advisory, investment training. These are things that are not germane to the field of accountants generally. Even to the point I've helped multiple clients over the years file quick claim deeds. So there's a lot of
wow, that's good.
legal type services that I've been exposed to in corporate America, and again, just simply seeking out the knowledge on my own, that I'm now able to provide these services to the community.
Okay, awesome. So, guys, again, if you have questions, please put the green heart. Hey, Swampy, and his links are in the description. So we're going to start. We are talking about taxes. So what can you file for personal taxes? And is the form 1040 for personal taxes? Also, some states like New York have state taxes. Some states don't. So when someone is filing a personal tax, what do they need to do?
You mentioned specifically the form, the IRS form 1040. That is the core form. That is the main form for purposes of reporting your relevant tax information for personal, but it also encompasses layers of income that could come by way of business. So you're working in a position as an employee, your employee related wages is going to report it. If you have a money market account, interest bearing account, interest that may be subject to paying taxes either at a federal and certainly on a state level, that's going to be required to be reported on your form 1040. If you have dividends by way of again brokerage accounts, that's one thing. IRAs, which are individual retirement accounts. If you have pension distributions, if you have Social Security income, if you sell and have assets by way of sale of major assets or more so securities or brokerage accounts where you have sales of stocks and investments, you may have some level of capital gains exposure that you have to report on your 1040. And consequently, also mentioning real estate, if you're operating rental property, that's also going to be reported by way of other forms and schedules that then transition into your form 1040. And there are also various other adjustments that you're able to take to, it's in essence to offset, to reduce your liability by way of the income that you may report on your 1040. If you have student loans that you pay and there's interest, component of that you make, that payment that you make by way of the interest separate from the principal is a tax adjustment that reduces your taxable income before you get to your adjusted gross income. And I could go on and on. Oh, unemployment, certainly another thing. That
I was going to say unemployment and stimulus checks, because everyone received, well, mostly, I'm going to say everyone, but some didn't. But most people receive stimulus checks. Is that taxable? Do they have to pay taxes on the stimulus check?
No, you do not. It is not taxable income, thankfully, under the terms of the COVID relief plans and CARES Act and those that followed subsequently. To this point, we received 3 government rollouts by way of government economic stimulus payments. The first 2 payments were pertinent to your 2020 tax returns that were filed last year in calendar year 2021. And at its apex, if you meet the certain income requirements going below the adjusted income thresholds, the max that you could have received on the first round of payments would have been $1,200. For purposes of the adult taxpayers, if you have dependents that meet certain age requirements, the max that you could have received was $500. The second round of payments, it was a flat $600 cap across the board, whether it was the adults or the children or the dependents involved. So it was a $600 payment, and those 2 impacted your 2020 taxes by way of, if you had not received the individual payments from the Internal Revenue Service for those the first and second stimulus, you could have claimed the benefit of what's called the recovery rebate credit by way of filing your 2020 taxes last year. Now, we're now rolling into tax year 2021. There was a third payment that was rolled out in calendar and tax year 2021. And at its apex, that one capped out at $1,400. So the way that's going to impact your 2021 tax return that's being filed this year is it's not taxable income, but there is a requirement for purposes of speaking to your accountant, your financial professional that's going to be handling your tax work, to make them aware. I'm not sure, the letters haven't started streaming out yet, but you may receive a notice from the IRS simply confirming what letter from the president noting this is the payment that you've received by way of the recovery rebate credit. You have to make your accountant aware of the fact that you have received that. First of all, did you receive it, or did you receive it or not? And also, if you did receive it, and confirming the exact amount that you received by way of the recovery rebate or the stimulus payment. Because if you did not receive the appropriate amount based on your adjusted gross income and the other factors that impact your tax return, it needs to be claimed when you file your 2021 taxes.
Yep.
So
I'm going to get to your question in a minute, Armana. One moment.
Right. Yep. So you have to, it's not taxable income, but you need to make your accountant aware of the fact that you did or did not receive it, because if you didn't get the benefit of it previously while they were rolling them out in mid-year 2021, it's going to impact your 2021 tax filing now by way of included either in your refund or to further reduce any tax liability you have.
Okay. What is the child tax credit, and do I need to file for that?
All right. Now, in your case, Vern, no, you
wouldn't. Well, no, not me, because I ain't got no babies, but I'm talking about people with children.
If you have a qualifying dependent to claim, a child that meets the age requirements, the tax credit, the child tax credit has been impacted by way of an increase, subject to increase for 2021's tax return filing. In your tax return filing for 2020, the max benefit received was $2,000 as long as the child met the age requirement of being age 17 or under. They have increased the child tax credit for tax year 2021 by way of now having it as a $3,000 credit if your child is between the ages of 6 through 17 at the end of 2021. If your child's 5 years of age or under, that credit is $3,600. So this particular credit has had a significant increase, and it's going to be a benefit to many taxpayers across the country. That, again, as long as you qualify for this credit if you have a dependent child that meets the requirements of being claimed as a dependent on your return. And there's also a form that you'll have to hold off and wait to receive, so it doesn't slow down the processing of your tax return for this year. The government had begun the process last year of issuing a advance of your child tax credit.
I was going to ask you that.
So just so you're keen on this. Now, we've discussed the stimulus payments. The stimulus payments were, in essence, free dollars received from the government by way of COVID relief plans. It's not taxable income. You just simply needed to affirm what you received, so your accountant can then get the appropriate credit if you haven't filed for it yet. Now, in the case of the child tax credit, normally over the year's history, you would wait to receive the benefit of child tax credit and additional child tax credit if you qualify on your tax return when you file. Well, the government has decided by way of relief, once again, pertinent to COVID, that they were advancing these payments to households and citizens across the country. So you do not get to have a double benefit. You don't get to have it now and have it later.
Right.
So there's a form 6419 that's going to be produced by the IRS. You have to wait to receive that form. It's going to confirm the exact amount of the advance payment that you received. So your accountant can then account for not making sure that you don't get a double benefit. Because if you do pick up the wrong amount of the advance or report that you received, in essence, you're more than likely going to produce that that I got less than I did actually receive. It's going to slow down the processing time of your return.
And that's the advance payment they got in their paycheck, right?
No, those are being distributed directly to taxpayers. So it had nothing to do with your employee-related wages. The IRS, based on your most recent tax filing and the methods for which you received your refund, if you were eligible to receive a refund, in the case of if you had a direct deposit of your refund, the funds were directly deposited to you. Otherwise, if you received a check in the mail or you had a balance due and they didn't further reduce it by way of your liability, you actually received a check in the mail.
Okay. And one more question before we get to Armana's. Do I need to file taxes on unemployment that I received? So I lost my job in November of 2020. 2020. Yeah,
Right.
2020. So I got unemployment for like 6 to 8 weeks. Do I need to
Right.
file taxes on that money?
Depends on how much you receive. Your short answer is yes, but depending on how much of a unemployment benefits or assistance you received, the entire amount will not be taxable. Will not be taxable at a federal level. So tax year 2000, and forgive me, but I haven't checked the rate on the cap on the unemployment exclusion for 2021. For 2020 was the first 10,500 of the unemployment benefits. If you would not be subject to federal taxes. I'm not sure if that cap has increased for 2021. I'll verify that and get back to you on that. But if there will be some relief by way of not having all of your unemployment benefits being taxable. At most state level requirements, it's still a taxable portion of your income, the entire amount. But depending on how much you received, the entire amount is not going to be subject to federal taxes.
Okay. And I think this question coincides with Armanda's question, and I'll read it in one moment. So I was going to say, do I need to pay taxes on a C 1099 or 1099C?
Oh, 1099C?
Yeah. So she said, is there any different considerations we have to make between starting an online business, YouTube channel, podcast, Amazon, FBA, Shopify, etc., versus a traditional brick and mortar business?
All right, so hold the second question from Armando on the screen, and let's address the first question regarding the Form 1099-C. The 1099-C form is noted for purposes of cancellation of a debt, an outstanding debt that you may have had. And in short, in simple form, if you had an outstanding balance, let's say for a mortgage, or you had credit card debt that had been forgiven by way of the lender or the party that you're obligating to paying, they simply wiped that debt off the books for purposes of you not having to pay them. You have to look out for this particular form that has become a more common form to see over the last, I'd say, 5 to 6 or 7 years. It's a Form 1099-C, cancellation of debt. And that number that you're being reported on there is, in essence, the amount that you're being absolved of paying. But there's a requirement for purposes of, from a tax standpoint, for your federal tax return, that you may potentially have to pay the taxes on the amount that was forgiven by the obligated lender that you had. So again, if you owed a debt, it's being forgiven off the books by way of you not having to repay it to whomever the obligation was supposed to be made to, but you have an obligation to pay potentially taxes on that amount if it's being reported as income. Now, there are certain exclusions that will apply by way of different layers of exclusions, that's the right word, that may require you to not have to be subject to any taxes being paid on it. For example, a bankruptcy filing is one exclusion that will potentially absolve you of having to pay taxes on cancellation of debt related income. Or if you had a insolvency situation, insolvency simply meaning your total assets are in a deficit in comparison to your total liabilities. So in essence, you owe more in terms of your total obligations, either mortgage loans, student loans, you bought furniture on credit, things that you have as liabilities, meaning you owe a business or an entity for paying a presumed balance in comparison to your assets, which may include your vehicle, cash in the bank, money market accounts, or pension related funds or retirement accounts. So if you're in a deficit by way of your what you owe is greater than what you have, in essence, as a positive record on your asset side, then you're insolvent, and you could meet the requirements by way of excluding any 1099-C cancellation of debt funds from your income and not having to pay subject to taxes. All right.
Thank you for the share, Kayla Mar. I seen it come through on my phone. Ray of Sunshine says, wow, diversified skills and
But Vern, the second question you asked is no longer on the screen. It was pretty long. Would you be able to revive it for me? Okay. Is there any different consideration we have to make between starting an online business, YouTube channel, podcast, Amazon, FBA, Shopify versus a traditional brick and mortar? And for purposes of me as an accountant working with any client, whether it's a brick and mortar situation or you're moving more so in a virtual related business or a back office or home office situation, to me, there's no different. If you're in the process of conducting and operating a business for purposes of generating profit, and you're going to be, in essence, it's going to be also keeping in that fine line of not being looked at as potentially a hobby, by way of the coding or the terminology of the IRS. This is actually a business that you're conducting. First thing you need to do is formally register. So with that being said, I won't treat them any different, whether it's a brick and mortar as opposed to a online based business. It's gonna follow the same rules. You need to have the separation of your personal related assets from your business assets. So that's one of the main reasons that you go about registering a business. Things happen in the framework and the process of conducting or operating any type of business for providing services or submitting or selling products. You need to have the exposure mitigated by way of potentially things go bad in business if things go left, potential lawsuits, having your personal assets, i.e. your home, your personal vehicle, your retirement accounts. You do not want to have those potentially, being subject to any ramifications by way of your formal business practices. So you need to register, and then the chain of events that follow from there, which I can outline. Securing. So once you register with the state, get your tax ID number with the Internal Revenue Service. You open a business account. You then get your business plan in order. If it's a corporate entity, do your bylaws. So once you get all of these individual pieces to fulfill the full construct of a business, I do not treat them any differently. And I pretty much know any accountant or CPA will tell you the same thing. It's the same protocols that need to be followed, regardless of whether or not it's online or brick and mortar.
Right. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. We are collabing with, we're just doing a dialogue with Mr. Oliver Brown. His links are pinned to the top of this live stream. I suggest you really go there and check them out and get some information that you need on taxes. Again, this is tax season, so we want to be prepared. So I'm just going to read a few comments before I ask my next question. Ray of Sunshine says, wow, diversified skills and excellent work references go a long way for longevity. Yes.
Absolutely.
Kayla Mars says, thanks. Good to know. Yep. Armana has another question. Do you recommend itemizing expensive? Yes, I'm going to get to that one in one moment, Armana, before you get that. Great resume. Yes. Do you need an attorney, accountant? Do you need an accountant for establishing that? We're going to get to that business stuff in one moment, guys. I'll come back to those. If you're just coming in, welcome in. Hey, Leo, how you doing? Hello, Charlene Hill. How are you? This is a must replay. Thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. So before I go into the next questions, for personal, charitable contributions, do you need to pay taxes on that?
No, thankfully, you do not pay. For purposes of giving out of the kindness of your heart, you do not pay taxes by way of any charitable contributions or donations you may make in a given tax year. The benefit that you receive by way of a charitable donation or contribution primarily on your personal taxes, you're going to be filing on Form Schedule A, which is the itemized deduction schedule. Now, depending on what you've donated, there's also a quirk in the tax law that changed for 2020 that's also pertinent to 2021. Last year, the IRS, when I refer to last year, I'm referring to tax year 2020. The only way that you could receive the benefit by way of your personal taxes to have a deduction for any charitable contributions or donations that you make would be only if you itemize on your taxes. I'll give you a quick detail as to what an itemized summary is by way of Schedule A on your personal taxes. There are expenses that the IRS allows specific to this form that you get an aggregate total of these particular expenses, and I'll run through a few of them that are more common. If you own your primary residence or home, and also subject to other other property and assets that you own in real estate, and you have a mortgage attached to it, your mortgage interest is generally one of the bigger deductions you'll find on the itemized deduction Schedule A. If you pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance relative to your loan, your real estate taxes or your property taxes is a tax deductible item. And if you pay down points on your mortgage, paying down points simply means you're giving a benefit in by way of paying the mortgage company to reduce your interest rate. So if you paid in points, those are all items that will be generally reported on a Form 1098 mortgage interest statement from your lender. So that would be one bucket for your deductions. Another bucket, another expense is your out-of-pocket medical and dental expenses paid that have to meet a percentage threshold of your adjusted gross income before it then qualifies as an itemized deduction. The difference between your percentage of your AGI total and your actual expenses, that qualifies as an itemized deduction for out-of-pocket medical and dental expenses.
Can you tell them what AGI stands for? Some people may
Sure.
not know.
AGI is your adjusted gross income that's reported on your form federal form 1040. And in short, it's just simply the aggregate total of all of your relevant income, your income line items, wages, interest, dividends, all the things I discussed on the first part of the presentation. Then it's adjusted by certain line items, student loan interest, and employee related expenses that are specific to teachers. There's some specific adjustment line items that then qualify. And then at the end, once you adjust for those particular items, you end up with your adjusted gross income. Your adjusted gross income is going to be one of the key numbers prior to actually figuring out how much of your adjusted gross income is actually going to be subject to taxes. After you reduce it by what we're discussing right now, either the itemized deductions, depending on if that's the aggregate total that's going to be greater than your standard deduction. The itemized deduction, again, we've talked about the interest, all the pertinent information for your mortgage, the medical and dental expenses, charitable contributions and donations. That includes cash donations, non-cash by way of donations of furniture, appliances, clothes, etc., artwork. There's so many different things that you could donate to a qualified and approved religious organization,
Right.
nonprofit, or church.
Say that again.
Very
Qualify.
right. So it has to qualify under that base. It cannot be, hey, I'm giving away some baby clothes to my sister. Your sister is not a qualified entity by way of a organization that the IRS would approve that donation to be taken. Right. So this is why you have to make sure you work with qualified professionals that have the knowledge, because you could put yourself in hot water by way of a potential audit by claiming wrong things on your taxes. So therein lies yet another deduction. If you live in a state that has a requirement for purposes of paying state taxes, your state tax withholdings also shows itself on the Schedule A form, which is for the itemized deductions. Another one that's not really common, casualty theft losses. That will be like losses losses that you could be subjected to by way of a major catastrophic event, a hurricane, tornado, fire, something where you have a major loss of asset. That also qualifies as an itemized deduction. And prayerfully, nobody's in that situation.
Nice. Well, we know we had a serious storm, so some people are unfortunately in that situation.
Oh, one thing I have to temper, because I'm a New Yorker, and hopefully no one in the chat is scolding me for it. I speak fast, so I apologize. Sometimes I have to.
I do too.
Speed. So
that's why we understand each other.
I was trying to be conscious of that I'm not speaking too fast, that everyone is following along. And if you have any questions, or if you want me to get more granular on anything that I've referenced so far, please post it in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to regurgitate or restate what the question that you may have, or clear it up, I should say. So
Thanks, Denise, for the share.
Oh, sorry. We're still in the framework of the itemized deduction total. So once we get to the total of all your itemized deductions as they're outlined, we're now going to compare it to your standard deduction. Now, the standard deduction line item is directed by way of Internal Revenue Code, and the IRS confirms exactly what your standard deduction amount will be based on your filing status. Your filing statuses that you will find on your return are either single, head of household, married. As a married couple, you could either choose to file jointly or separately, or if you're a widower. So based on your filing status, the IRS notes before each tax season what the standard deduction amount will be. So based on your filing status, that's pertinent to your taxes, your itemized deduction total, whichever those two deductions is the larger deduction or the greater number, that's the deduction that would make best sense to choose, because the larger deduction is then taken to reduce your taxable income. Your adjusted gross income, in turn putting you in a lower tax bracket, which has you subject to paying less in federal taxes and or state taxes.
Okay. So I have a two-part question, and then I'm going to just go to the rest for the comments. So what tax form is used to file for business taxes, and what can you write off for business taxes?
Okay, good question. Now, for purposes of different business structures, the most common ones, you'll find that businesses are registered as either an LLC, which is a limited liability company, or a corporation. And a corporation can have two particular designations. Once it's registered formally, it is a C elected corporation, but then you could file the necessary paperwork to have a S election to the corporation. And they're taxed a little bit differently in terms of, and I don't want to get too deep into the business area, but the S elected corp, you would then file a form 1120S. That would be the tax form. The relevant ordinary income and net of the expenses for a S elected corporation then flows all the way down to the bottom line, either as an ordinary income or loss from that business year activity for the company, and then it's reported to the shareholders of the company. A shareholder, in terms of as it relates to a corporation, the individual shareholders are the owners of the corporation in essence. So the relevant net activity from the business activity for that year is reported on the form Schedule K1 once you complete your 1120S for an S-selected corporation. For a C Corp, it stands alone as its own based entity. There is no pass-through situation by way of filing a corporate tax return for a C corporation, and that's going to be filed in a form 1120 without any other election designations there. The most common for purposes of the small and many medium-sized business in the business community is the LLC, the limited liability company. And in the case of a single member LLC, when you file your business income and expenses and claim all your write-offs, you're going to be filing it on a form Schedule C. Form Schedule C is going to be a part of your personal taxes. So it's a form or schedule that accompanies your form 11, your form 1040, excuse me. So, and then there are other supporting schedules, form SE for self-employment tax. Self-employment tax is simply a combination of Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes. Just to speak real quickly on what SE tax relates to for a single member LLC, when you work in a position as an employee working for a company, there's a 50-50 split by way of the calculation of Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes, which are remitted to the Social Security Administration and put into a bucket, in essence, your Social Security benefits that you will hopefully expect to receive once you retire. When you're working as an employee, 50% is allocated based on a half of 15.3%. I don't want to get too heavy into the percentages. I can regurgitate them out of my head because I'm looking at numbers all day long. But you pay 50% of the Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes, and your employer matches the amount, and then those dollars get remitted to the Social Security Administration. When you're working and when you're having an LLC situation where you're a registered business, you in essence are the employer. So you handle 100% of that burden, which equates to 15.3% for self-employment taxes, which is again Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes. You are required to pay that burden by way of your tax return, and you could then mitigate some of that burden that you'll have to pay for self-employment taxes by deciding to make estimated tax payments due in a given tax year, and that calculation will be done by your accountant. So, single member LLC, you're going to be filing on form Schedule C, along with other supporting schedules and forms by way of your personal taxes that accompany your 1040. If you have a multi-member LLC situation, that's noted as a partnership. And if you have a partnership scenario where you have multiple members or owners of a business, you're going to be filing on U.S. Partnership Form 1065. So that will be the related form for a multi-member LLC, which is in essence a partnership. So they're the core ones that you'll find: single member LLC, Schedule C, other supporting forms, partnership Form 1065, with subsequent Schedule K1s that also apply to the 1065. The K1s report all of the ownership information by way of a split. So let's say there are two owners and they own it 50-50. 50% goes to one member to be reported on their personal taxes by way of the K1 in a partnership, and same for the other partner. And then in case of a 1120S for an S Corp, same rules apply. You go through the mechanics of reporting the income expenses and then report on K1 to then pass through. Now, for purposes of, you mentioned for write-offs, the beauty of owning a business, in essence, while you're in the construct of actually conducting and doing business, in essence, all of your out-of-pocket expenses, in large part, again, it's all subject to potential, review and also clarity by way of the IRS. They're very keen and very clear on what you're allowed to and what you're not allowed to write off and claim. Right. But generally, in the case of single member LLCs, or in the 1120 situation where you have a selected corp, your major expenses, advertising, marketing, meals and entertainment for purposes of entertaining clients and new prospective business. If you have if you're leasing property, you're leasing a office, those expenses are going to be tax deductible. So in essence, the major construct of your out-of-pocket expenses while in the process of doing business are going to be potential write-offs. So record keeping is the key thing, keeping track of all of your supporting docs to provide to your accountant so those can be put in the proper buckets and then claimed on your taxes.
Okay. So Ray of Sunshine has kind of like a two-part question. Do you need an attorney accountant to only need an account for establishing an LLC? And is there a minimum age requirement for an LLC, like for a child business?
For the first part of the question, I would highly recommend, and I kind of started with this in terms of, we all take the initiative to try to, take it upon ourselves to go register a business, and we run right to the Department of State website. We form a business name, and then in many cases, I've found over the years, and certainly as even recent times, not following through on the other steps that are going to be pertinent to making your business officially registered and in compliance. So you can go and take the chance of doing an LLC on your own, but if you don't know the proper steps to formally legitimize your business, you could put yourself by way of, into potential situations where you don't have access to funding. You're not able either by way of, government related plans, grants, the SBA, the Small Business Administration. We know about all of the, at least on the good side of the fence, folks that were applying for PPP loans, EIDL.
Yeah.
You needed to have a properly registered business in order to qualify for these loans and meeting other requirements. So if you don't know the steps, again, I recommend that you speak to a professional. Attorneys do offer that service, but I'm of course going to be partial to accountants. This is the world in financials that we live in. So refer to your accountant as somebody that could help you and guide you through that process. Registering a business based on age, the age requirements are going to be different based on the state requirements by the Department of State. So
okay.
It's a fluid question that is going to be more specific to where you're opening the business, what the state laws are, and what the requirements are from the Labor Department and things of that nature. So it just depends.
Okay. All right. Before we get into community advocate, again, guys, thank you all for being here. We are talking and dialoguing with Mr. Oliver Brown. All of his information is pinned to the top of this live stream, and it's also in the description box. He can be found on Facebook and on Instagram. If you are looking for an accountant, I put a poll question in. I am going to look at it right now. And the poll question is, if it's still here, did it leave? Okay. Do you have an accountant? 39% said yes. 61% said no. And then the last part of it was, what is an accountant? What is an accountant? Everybody said 0. So that's good. You know what an accountant is. But 61% said no. Guys, really need to try to get one. Get about it.
They don't need one because they already have one. Because if you're in business, you should absolutely secure the professional services of an experienced accountant and also an attorney. That's another very important professional that you need to have in your portfolio by way of owning a business. So it's from a standpoint of, if you're in a situation where you're just working a job, you have a basic tax return. Of course, you could take the onus and the responsibility of, do-it-yourself software. No professional is gonna generally advocate for that, because of course this is our livelihood. This is a service that we have gone to school, gotten our education, got certifications, and have a high level of knowledge in. In my case, 25 years worth of knowledge that your at-home office software cannot do what I do, and from a standpoint. So at the end of the day, you're gonna get out what you put in. So
that's right.
even doing the kind of following the trails of what the software may tell you, again, there's knowledge that I'm aware of, and there's information that's in my brain that your computer will not know, because it's just simply software. You're gonna get out what you put in.
I'm just gonna read community advocate. She had a point and then a question. She said, in Michigan, where she's from, my business is considered an individual operated LLC, essentially a DBA, right? A sole proprietorship, which requires a 1040 rather than the 990 AGI 50 or less. Right. And again, each state, like he said, would be different. And then she said, can you explain the personal liability implications, which I think you went over, right?
Yes, I did. And well, she mentioned there was a few things noted there. She says it's an
Yep.
LLC, but it's a individually operated a DBA. Well, it's different. It's either or. If you register an LLC, it's its own standalone entity. It's not a DBA unless you decide to register a fictitious name entity, which under the umbrella of your LLC. And just to clarify what that would mean, a fictitious name entity being registered under a registered LLC or corporation in your Department of State is simply the name or the moniker or the nickname that you may brand and operate under. So your company could be ABC LLC, but from a marketing and branding standpoint of what you promote to your clients, you may decide you want to use Cat in the Hat as your fictitious name entity. The registered entity or the name entity underneath the LLC is not is not subject to taxes. The LLC is the one that actually is the tax related entity that you will file and report on your taxes. So that's one thing. And the form you mentioned 990, the 990 form pertains to nonprofit related status as far as a corporation that's registered.
Yeah, I was going to say nonprofit.
So they're different. The LLC separate and the 990 are different, totally different.
Slim Jim said you spit in the info. Yes, I'm glad you guys are, really interested in this, because if you worked even for 2 weeks in the year, you need to file taxes on that money. And I want you to understand, because you don't want to. You know what I heard yesterday? That they are going to start auditing people that have not filed for the last 2 or 3 years. Did you hear that?
No, that may just.
I heard that on the radio literally yesterday, and I was like, "Oh wow, I gotta ask Oliver about that."
Well, I don't. Well, did you hear that on the radio?
Yeah, it was on the radio. It was on one of the.
Well, I and my clients are very well understanding of this. I tell them whatever you hear at the water cooler at your jobs, or you hear on social media websites, there's a lot of information that's not 100% accurate that needs to be vetted. So reach out to, again, this is why I'm always going to pull and support professionals that have taken the time to gather the experience and the knowledge. I'm in essence an accountant that is accessible to my clients all year round. Working with a major conglomerate, like say something that rhymes with G and L block, you're going to be looking at a situation where potentially you have a person or an individual that came and took a course, and now they're supposedly a certified tax preparer. And not to say that you can't go out and gain the knowledge and go about doing the business, but in essence, it's side work. It's just simply some funds, additional resources, supplemental income to earn during tax season. What I do is an all year round service. My clients have access to me to make when they're making major financial decisions in their lives, and whether it's personally or things that will impact them personally, in their children, their retirements, their businesses. You have access to someone that's going to be able to answer those key questions and help you navigate those processes all year round. And again, that's something that your do-it-yourself software can never do. It can never complement.
Well, why would someone not file taxes?
Why would you not file taxes?
Yeah, for years.
A variety of reasons. None at the end of the day, the IRS or any state regulatory department, governing department of taxation or agency is going to be accepting of. But simply some folks are just lackadaisical. Don't think it's as important a task as it should be, and certainly either don't have all your supporting documentation and your ducks in a row. So there are a myriad of reasons that someone would decide not to file their taxes. Now, speaking to the potential audit situation, it's not something that's being broadcasted a lot by the IRS, but as a common practice, if you're earning income and you also have associated expenses to write off, whether it's on the books or off the books, and even in some cases from, and this is something that certainly circulated social media, instances where the IRS, and this is real and this is true, if you're attaining and earning quote unquote income from illegal business activities or crimes, the IRS has an expectation that you're supposed to be reporting that income and paying taxes on it. So whether you're getting a 1090, if you're not getting a 1099 or a W-2, or K-1 or some other income related documents and you're earning income, whether it's legal or illegal, you have a requirement to file your taxes and pay the taxes on it. So
y'all see, I'm sipping my tea on that one, right?
well, you don't have that situation.
Y'all out there, that illegal activity.
Yeah. So the IRS actually expects, and you can go online. You can go online on the IRS website, www.irs.gov, and you'll see that you are required to report these income sources, whether they're legal or illegal.
Mm-hmm. So Amana says, I don't have any, but are cryptocurrencies taxed by the federal and state?
Yes. Well, depending on the state departments, yeah, it's again, state law is different from federal law. But for the purposes of the Internal Revenue Services, yes, cryptocurrency, blockchain, VCs, virtual currency, those are things that will impact your taxes, your tax filing. And that's another one of those that's getting a little bit more common. A lot of folks are getting more into the investment world, and specifically the younger generation. So it's something that's really good to see, that we're looking at these other means of being able to create supplemental income and really give that focus to investing, which I'm certainly big on that.
So Amana, she had another good question. Do you have to pay taxes if you receive money because you were the beneficiary of a life insurance policy? That is a great question.
Yeah, life insurance proceeds proceeds by way of a death benefit are not generally taxable income. So, you don't have to worry about any potential ramifications there.
And community advocate, we're getting ready to get into that right now. Thank you for asking. So I heard that streaming services are tax deductible. Is that true? So I want to put this into one. Uber, StreamYards, YouTube, any of those social media sites like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of those, you get money, you can get paid to be monetized. Right. So tell us if they have to pay taxes on all of those entities.
Yes. Those will all revolve in the world of self-employment. So for purposes of your self-employment business activity, when you work for these individual brands or companies and platforms, you could even add in Lyft, good Lord, what are the delivery services?
The food one and all of that, yeah.
Like that. That's been, again, another common business activity over the last number of years, especially with COVID. And unfortunately, a lot of folks being laid off, they've had to find different means to support themselves. Yeah. So looking at these individual brands, they allow you to operate as an independent contractor. You complete a W-9. They have all your relevant details for purposes of issuing you a tax form at the end of the year. You'll be getting a Form 1099, a 1099 NEC, which is a non-employee compensation related document. In years past, you may have commonly seen it reported on the Form 1099 MISC, which is for miscellaneous income. So the IRS started to migrate back to the 1099 NEC prior to tax year 2020. So that will be where they will be reporting generally your non-employee related compensation by way of these different platforms, YouTube, etc. And if you receive payments by way of merchants, credit cards, you will be looking at getting a Form 1099K. So there are supporting tax documents for purposes of the income generation. And in the case of the 1099 NEC, there's a threshold requirement. Once you're paid as an independent contractor and you received over $600, the company is required to issue you that 1099. But again,
and talk about that too with Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. You got to pay taxes on those too. Yes. Square, all of that.
Yes. So be mindful that these other the sources, the mechanisms for which you receive your income. You may not receive, let's say for Cash App, you're not going to receive a report from Cash App saying report your income. But do not make the mistake of thinking you're not going to be these are not sources that you have to report to the Internal Revenue Service. There are all these different platforms that you can receive electronic payments. Keep track by way of either reporting modules that's, in case of Cash App, I believe it has a module that gives you reports that show you the details of what you received in income. But again, if you're operating a business, all of these different platforms, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle,
PayPal,
migrating. Those funds should be migrating and going right into your business account. That should be the hub. And if you're not tracking it by way of software, at a minimum, the income and the dollars that you're earning and generating should be going right directly into your business account. So don't make the mistake of thinking that that's not included. You could set yourself up for an audit by the Internal Revenue Service, and nobody wants to go through that.
Yeah. Watson said, do a budget sheet and get a checking account for your business. Yes.
Yes.
Again, like he said earlier, it should be separate. It should be separate.
Personal.
Oh, thank you, Armanda. She said, this is a great show. Thank you, Vern and Mr. Brown and moderators. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm just going to go down the chat because I don't want to hold Oliver. I know he has to go. He only gave me an hour, which he should have gave me more, but I'm good.
I'm here. I generally set standard hours for my meetings, so I'm here. I'm fine.
Okay. Community Advocate says, my question is, can you get around the additional taxation for single member LLC with an operational agreement? Oh, good one.
With an no, short answer is no, because here's the thing with a single member LLC. There's really no true tax related benefit by way of registering in LLC. It separates your personal from your business, and there are other layers that allow you to have a level of comfort and support in your business. But when it comes to paying federal taxes, there's no true benefit there. Depending on the business structure, the type of business that a client may be operating, and the vision for purposes of the growth, you can have a business registered as a single member LLC. And if you want to absolve yourself of being subject to paying self-employment tax, which is a pretty hefty tax, as I mentioned, it's a 15.3% burden that you have to foot as the business owner. You could decide by way of consulting with your professional, consulting with your accountant, and file the necessary paperwork with the Internal Revenue Service so you could actually receive the benefits of being taxed as a corporation, even though you're a registered LLC. Now, that will be for more of a deeper dive, but you can retrieve the benefits from a tax standpoint by having a registered LLC that is taxed as a corporation at a federal at the federal level.
Ray of Sunshine said, cool, great explanation of DBA and LLC. That's what he do, baby. I only get the best. Ray of Sunshine said, love how you use the letters somewhat. Okay. Slim said that's how they got composed.
Yeah.
Community said it's registered as an LLC, but because it's a single member, so it's taxed like a DBA.
In theory, yes, because again, I just mentioned there's no tax benefit by way of the taxation of an LLC. So as a DBA, you're paying the same level of self-employment tax as you would for a single member LLC. So that's correct.
And Deb is one of my booskies. So Deb, please reach out to Oliver, if you have more questions, if you need an accountant, and get all those answered. Great questions. Community Advocate says, Ray, Mercy Cap. Yes, Cash App, all of those. Look, don't play around. You heard what he said. Yes, Cash App, Rico Lewis, Cash App. So if someone sent you a gift of $1,000, $600, you got to pay tax on, baby. Like, we have to know this because a lot of people that can't afford bank accounts are using Cash App as a bank account. It's not a bank account through a bank. Cash App is not a bank account. I want you guys to understand this. So if you're using this for your business and you're getting money, you got to pay taxes on that. Uncle Sam wants his money, period.
And to add on what you're saying, as far as even looking at having funds sitting in a commercial bank that you have for your registered business, all dollars received into your business bank account are not necessarily a 100% income. If you decide to take resources out of your personal savings, draw money from your retirement account as in essence to use to fund and support your business as capital or a loan to the business, be aware of the fact that you shouldn't be paying taxes on it. If you earn that income while working a job in advertising and marketing, and you decide now you're going to venture into entrepreneurship, do not report the dollars that you took from your personal bank account routed to your business account. That again could either be capital or equity in the business or a loan that you're giving personally from yourself to the business. You should not be paying taxes on it when you file your business taxes. So that's where you need an accountant to really have that direction and ensure that you're going about the mechanics of doing things properly and not potentially paying taxes twice on funds that you already did. You already did already.
Rico, I'm glad you said that. He said, I thought Cash App was just money transfer. See, some people really don't know that.
Yeah. Yes. Get with an accountant. You could avoid some of the issues that you could have by way of government audits, either at a federal level or a state level. You don't ever want to get into that.
Yeah. Rico said, yes, this is wonderful. Yes, please reach out to Oliver Brown. If, I'm not trying to give you a bunch of business now, but if you get it, I'm just saying, they're coming from the Booski compound. You better be ready.
Of course. I appreciate it.
Community advocate said, oops, Uncle Sam wants you. Listen. Yes, he wants all his coins. He is not playing. Swampy said, Oliver, are you familiar with PA state taxation laws as well?
Yes, Pennsylvania is one of the states that I do have current clients in. So yes, that's the beauty of longevity and the number of years of service that I'm sure there's a lot. The world of taxation is a very broad one, but over the last 25 years, at least from certainly on the standpoint of state level taxes, I don't believe there are very few states that I haven't had a current or prior client located in the state. But Pennsylvania is one of those that I do have current clients in. So you can feel free to reach out to me if you have any need for the services that I offer.
Yep. Community advocates said streaming services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, etc., tax deductible. Yeah.
In what respect? You're asking about, let's say if you're utilizing them, let's say in the case of you as a content creator, and you need to subscribe to certain platforms by way of either continuing education or something by way of these streams or these services that are going to give a benefit to your business, and you incur an expense, yes, that expense could be potentially tax deductible.
Yeah, because I pay $25 a month for mine. Listen, and I want all my coins, Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
But let me see. I think we answered all of my questions. Oh, student loans. Let's talk about that quick, fast. Then I'm going to let you go. We're going to have like 20 more minutes, guys, and then we're going to be student loans, because some of them were in forbearance.
Yes.
And actually, I think it's still in forbearance now until March. And then I think we're going to get an update.
Lenders, right? It might have been stretched to May.
Okay, maybe May.
I'll check on that and get back to you, but I believe it might be May in some cases.
So if you're not paying on it, are you still accruing interest that you can write off, or how does that work with student loans?
Federal loans, they've halted the accrual of the interest and the relevant payments as a result of COVID. But that we're speaking to the federal loans and government loans that's where that would apply. If you have private student loans, you may in many cases I've found, as far as my clients, you were still required in some cases for the private loans that the lenders still wanted their money. So if you are making those payments, and of course you're making the payments being split between principal and interest, the interest component, you're going to receive a form 1098 as an EARL that's going to report the student loan interest that you're going to provide to your accountant to have it sit as an adjustment to your income.
Okay. So someone just brought a brand new car this year, and the tax on the car was $700. What happens to that money that they paid taxes on that vehicle?
Meaning the sales tax for the purchase?
Yes.
All right. Now, depending on different states have there's different state level deductions when it comes to vehicle purchases. So for states, it's going to be fluid. If we're just discussing federal, the sales tax by way of your purchase for your automobile, if it's a personally owned vehicle, if you claim the itemized deductions on Form Schedule A, you could claim the benefit of the sales tax on one of the line items on that form. If you purchase the vehicle under the name or umbrella of your business, and the vehicle is purchased by your business, now you have another whole layer of write-offs that come associated with the vehicle that go well beyond any taxes. If any vehicle used while in the process of doing business, you could claim the standard mileage deduction or the actual expense deduction. So there's a litany of other expenses that could be very, very beneficial by way of write-offs that you can claim when you're doing a business.
Okay. This is my last question, guys. If you have any more questions for the green heart, I'll take 3 more questions before we let Oliver go. So this is not me, so don't worry. I know people who go to the grocery store, get their gas or whatever, and they pay taxes throughout the whole year. They have this big old box with all those taxes. Do you have any clients like that? Because that's not me.
Absolutely not. And I speak for accountants all across the world. That's not a good practice. That's not something that's going to make your accountant happy. And in the case of if your accountant actually decides they're willing to go through your box of 1 million receipts for an entire year,
I know
you're going to pay a hefty premium for that service. You know, I educate my clients, and from a standpoint of record keeping, I need you to have all your ducks in a row, all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed. So whether it's supporting statements, receipts, software, something I highly recommend, either by way of services rendered for my company that I do accounting and bookkeeping services on behalf of you. If you're not willing or able to keep track of it, or you Excel spreadsheets and things of that nature, Google spreadsheets, those are things that you have access to from a standpoint of being able to organize information and provide support that's going to be make the process of filing your taxes a lot more fluent. So yeah, long gone are the days where you go and you sit down in front of your accountant and produce a year's worth of receipts. I have a couple of hundred clients. There's no way I could support a business if I had to deal with something like that. So every expense, every underlying write-off on your taxes needs to have a backup and support for it. But we go through the process, or at least I train my clients and educate them. This is the proper means for which either I'm taking it over or I'm giving you the tools and the roadmap of what you need to do. So when you get to me at the end of the year to file your taxes, we're having a very healthy and fluid and productive conversation.
Now, I did see this. You do not have to wait until January 30th or 31st to file your taxes. It's actually starting tomorrow, but also the end date to file taxes this year, as of now, it could change. As of now, it's April 18th. So let us know if that's correct.
Yes, the first major tax deadline will actually be, and I'm not sure what day of the week. The 15th is in March. March 15th is actually the first major deadline. So if you have mention an S-elected corporation, an S corp, those filings are due March 15th, and there are certain other business structures that are due in the month of March, the middle of March, March 15th. Again, if the 15th is if it's on a weekend, it then reverts to the next business day. So in the case of April 15th is generally the tax deadline day most years, but this year the 15th is on a weekend. So April 18th is the deadline for personal taxes and other related tax forms and submissions.
March 15th is a Tuesday.
I'm sorry?
March 15th?
Is a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday.
All right. So yeah, March 15th will be the deadline for the first major deadline. Then we have April 18th. And in the case of if for any reason you do not have all your documents organized or haven't received everything, there's also the ability to file for an automatic extension for either your personal or your business taxes. That will give you an additional 6 months. So then we're looking at mid-September and then mid-October as far as the expiration of those particular extensions.
But people can start tomorrow, the 24th?
Yes, as far as I've already been working on tax returns for clients actually since the beginning of January. So for folks that are not waiting on a W-2, so for business owners primarily, but W-2s are now starting to trickle in. The IRS will open up and start beginning the processing of tax returns tomorrow, January 24th.
Yeah, like I told you, I'm gonna wait because I don't have my tax stuff. I don't have a lot of. I only got 2 forms so far. That's it. I'm like,
fine.
Really?
Generally, the 31st by the end of January, is the required date when W-2s and certain other tax forms are required to be issued per the Internal Revenue Service by your employers or other entities that have paid you or have a requirement for reporting in a tax year. So generally, it's going to be light in the month of January. February is generally where the things start to beef up. At that point, you start to receive the meat and potatoes of your documentation. And again, I'm going to stress once again, for those that have dependent children that are going to be claiming child tax credit or eligible to receive child tax credit, and you receive those advances, it has been stressed, and I'm going to stress it again. Wait to receive the letter 6419 from the Internal Revenue Service to report the exact amount of the advance credit that you receive. It will slow down the processing of your return tremendously. The IRS is still backlogged by way of COVID. It was shut down for over a year, and there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of tax returns still sitting and waiting to be processed for tax years even as old as 2018 or 19. So don't put yourself in a position where you're rushing with the expectation that you're going to get it done swiftly, and because you have not received either the letter for the advanced credits, or if you have health insurance covered by way of the government marketplace and you're getting a subsidy by way of your health insurance coverage through the marketplace, you have to wait to receive your Form 1095A. There's a reconciliation that needs to be done by way of your taxes and your relevant income, your dependents, and everything that encompasses your tax filing. So Don't be so rushed to get your taxes done if you do not have that you have all your documents received.
Yeah, this will be the last question, guys. So Swampy Acre said, I have a question. Can live streaming services platform Netflix, Hulu be used as a tax write-off as educational purposes if you homeschool on your personal taxes? Oh, that's a good one.
Well, scrapping the homeschool component, I actually spoke to that already, as far as if you're utilizing certain tools by way of either social media or platform services that's noted as Netflix and Hulu, and it ties into the framework of you doing a business, then you can make the case, again, depending on the scenario, and I'd have to get more granular with the client to identify that this is not a potential gray area item where the IRS could potentially say, no, this doesn't qualify as an expense. I'd have to have that one-on-one to confirm that. But if all things being working in the proper order, and it meets the requirement of this is an actual true business expense while in the process of conducting business, it would qualify as a write-off. For purposes of homeschool, it wouldn't tie into any way, shape, or form for homeschool purposes. There wouldn't be a benefit received there if it's not business related.
Community advocate, yes, that's what I needed to know. If I could write off those subscriptions, good to know. Hey, Ms. Poulard, how are you? For using your platform to bring valuable information we need from professional people. Thank you so much. That's what it's all about, is getting the knowledge out, especially to some of us brown and black folk that don't like to read before you sign something. This is one of the purposes for me doing a YouTube, to get you that information the correct way from someone that has the knowledge, and not by somebody, like Oliver said, a fly by night. You sat there for 8 weeks and got a certificate, and now you're a tax professional. No, he went to school for this. This is educational. This is what he does for a living. This is not something he just picked up a book and did. So yes, thank you so much for that, Miss Pollard. Again, I want you guys to please reach out if you care to. Oliver's information is pinned to this live stream. You can reach him by Facebook and by Instagram. It is also in the description box of this live. At this time, if there's no more questions, I want Oliver just to say one more last thing before he go. What would you like the people to know about you, and how can they reach you, and what social sites? I'm just dropped down for one moment.
Okay. Well, for purposes of, acquiring my services and certainly getting access to very valuable information, things that have been presented here on this interview today, this live today, I'm more than happy to assist. I provide consultation services to clients, to kind of give them some level of direction as we move forward and hopefully doing business. And you could find me, as Vern mentioned, on various social media platforms. But first beginning, you can find me by way of my company website, which is www.btfllc.com. That is B as in boy, T as in Tom, F as in Frank, LLC.com. The full name of my business is Brown Tax Preparation and Financial Services, LLC. And I'm a registered business in the South Florida region. But again, as I noted, I have clients that are all across the United States and even over the world. So wherever your market is, wherever your business is located, I can be a value add by way of virtual services and having that extension to meet your financial needs. On the social media platforms, Instagram, you can find me at the handle at OBrownBTF. That is at OBROWNBTF, as in Brown Tax Financial. And for Facebook, you can find my business page, which is Brown Tax Preparation and Financial Services, LLC, by way of Facebook. So connect with me in all of those different social media platforms. And I look forward to being able to be of assistance and giving you a value that, honestly, it's going to go. You're going to be more than pleased with me from a standpoint of a level of detail and care that I have for your business, because your business interests are certainly my main concern, to ensure that you grow and develop in the areas that you need to.
Swampy Egger says, thank you. This was an awesome stream. You're so welcome, Swampy. Community advocates that I told you, Vern, my previous accountant charged me $5,000. What? For going through my box of receipts. Are you kidding me?
Yes. So that's why you want to avoid that practice. I put you.
Yes. Miss Pollard, thank you so much, sis, for that super sticker. Woo! I'm going to show you some love. Give me one moment. Oliver, don't go anywhere. Hold on one second. Sure. I just want to do this for her, to show her some love, quick, fast. Hold on. It's really short. Thank you. Moderators, is there anyone live maybe that we can raid? I'll stay on for a few minutes, but I'm going to let Oliver go. Oliver, again, thank you for giving this valuable information to all of my subscribers. And I hope your subscribers also are looking, because people can see us on different platforms. Again, guys, this live will be saved where you can always go back and re-watch and get this information. Again, his information is all in the description box. So Oliver, thank you so much. I super appreciate you. And I'll hit you up in a few minutes off of this.
All right,
okay.
Sure.
I just want to say bye to my people.
Thing. If somebody decides you want to call me, why don't I give you my telephone number? My business telephone number is area code 772-873-7600. Again, that's 772-873-7600. Again, tomorrow is the opening of tax season and processing of returns for the IRS. Please reach out to me. I look forward to being able to assist you. And thank you very much, Vern, for allowing me to grace your stage with you. You've been a more than gracious host, and I certainly look forward to doing great things with you going forward.
Okay, so if they come to you and say they are Booski, you know they from me.
Exactly.
Booski Compound, thank you so much. I'm going to reach out to you in a little while, okay?
All right, look forward to it. All right, take care.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being Sharon. Hey, boo! Thank you, Sharon. Let me give you some love, hon. Thank you, Sharon. I hope you guys really found value in this live, because that's what it's all about, is giving you the information that is needed the correct and proper way, because we know there are several people out here that just blah, 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 and don't do the research. That's why when I give you stuff, I research, I make sure I'm getting people that are legit, because I want to be known as, wow, let's go there for information and the network. As Sharon says, the Kingdom Connector. Thank you, sis. So with that said, hey, Love to Travel, thank you so much. And again, thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for being here. Mods, is there anyone that's live that we can raid? See if Bella's still live, because I think Bella comes on at 2:00. Can someone check a mod real fast before we go? If Brown Girl Bella is on, we can raid her. Okay, so I'm going to give it like a few more minutes. Hey, Mo, thank you for being here, Mo. How are you? Woo! Thank you. Thank you, Love to Travel. Really informative. Thank you so much. Hey, Lana Bailey. Yes, thanks very much, love given. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, Mo, is Bella still live? You were on Bella's, right? Let me know so we can raid her. Let me know so we can raid her. I'm going to try and see if there's a let me go back before to see if she's live. I'm going to look. Hold on. Oh, Catherine with Friends is live, guys. Let's raid Catherine with Friends. Can I get a mod to drop Catherine with Friends link in the chat? She's going live at 7. Okay. Can we, Catherine with Friends, can I get that link? Thank you, Kay Lamar. Oh, speaking of Kay Lamar, on Thursday, guys, we will be interviewing Kay Lamar. Woo! Yes, her and her husband will be here, baby. Bring your positive energy. Bring your good vibes. We are going to be interviewing Kay Lamar on Thursday. I'm super, super, super excited to be interviewing them. They are awesome. We needed all that info for the LLC. Yes, Kay Lamar. Yay! Thank you, Slim. Thank you, Boo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. If I could get somebody to drop Catherine with Friends link, we can go over there and raid her. And again, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to Oliver. Reach out to me. You know, I can get you in contact with him in case you forget where to go. But all of his information is pinned to this description and the top of the live stream. We like to have a professional atmosphere, but we also have fun here. Again, tomorrow, guys, tomorrow, merch is on sale. Manifest that ish. Give me 1 second. I want to show you this. Manifest that ish. Woo! 2020 2022, we coming for you. Go get your merch, baby. Tomorrow on sale, 15% off. We have aprons, we have mugs, we have hats. I will be doing a video a little bit tonight. It'll be out sometime tonight. I'm going to try to get it out by 9 p.m. The video is for you. Go over there and get your merch. Yes, we're going to raid Catherine Friends, guys. Please say VJC raid or Booski raid. I will meet you guys over there. And with that said, guys, please stay safe. Remember that today is a good day to have a great day. Never stop dreaming. Manifest that ish. Hashtag 2022. We coming for you. Merch is on sale tomorrow, guys. 15%. Go get your merch. I love you guys, and I will see you either on the lunch live or I will see you on Thursday when I interview Kay Lamar. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Bye, everybody. I'm going to play this song. We're going to be out, baby. Yes, positive over negative. Lotta Bailey. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Bye.